guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you all of the 23 top books that I read in 2023. Alright, so I have a little list of things. I think I want to do all of the books, and then when it gets to like the last three, that will be first, second, and third place. Alright, I want to start off first with a memoir, which is also, like, this is such an amazing piece of writing. I still think about this book to this day. Like, it's something I don't think I'll ever forget, just hearing her story. This is I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I gave it a 5 stars. It was either I wasn't going to rate it, or if I absolutely loved it, I was going to give it a 5 stars, just because it is actually a real story, and that's like her real life, and I wouldn't want to like rate her life, if that makes sense. So Jeanette McCurdy, a lot of people know her for her well-known acting in iCarly, as well as Sam and Cat, the series, both those series, more so on iCarly, but reading through this, she's actually done so much more than what we know, or what I knew. And her mum was a massive influence in her life, also a very toxic person in her life. And I'm sure anyone else that's read this book this year or whenever it first came out, all I'm saying is I'm sure whoever has read this book has also got the same thoughts. This is such a fantastic book, and it was so well written, and I liked how like there's a lot of chapters, because it's like her chapters of her life, and it was so good to read. So highly recommend for your next read. The next book that I'm going to be talking about is actually, I have to include all of them that I've read so far, but I'm just going to hold up the whole series. This is the Chestnut Spring series. So far, I have read fully both Flawless and both Heartless. This is by Elsie Silver. It is fantastic. I'm currently halfway through Powerless, the third book, and this one is Jasper Gervais's book. This one is Cade, the oldest brother, and it's kind of like babysitter vibes, like forced proximity, small town romance, all of it is. And then this one's hot. Like, they're all so hot. Elsie, she's just got the best brain. I love her so much. So yeah, it's definitely this whole series. I'm looking forward to reading the next 2 as well after, just because you're getting hints and glimpses of other people, especially in Powerless that I'm currently reading. Like, there's a lot, because Jasper is really close with Beau. So yeah, love it so much. The next book I read this a lot earlier on in the year, like as soon as it pretty much came out. This is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This one, I feel like it was really nice, because it explores a lot of like miscommunication issues, etc. And second chance romance, and everyone that knows me personally knows that I am so freaking obsessed with second chance romance. I love it with my whole, like, every fiber of my being. Sometimes it's not done very well, but I don't know what it is about these authors. Like, I am just infatuated with their words and their writing and their lyricism. Like, this is why I haven't been in a relationship for more than 3 years, because I cannot settle for any less. Like, I just love reading about these beautiful people, and I'm just like, I want that. I want it, but I'm scared that, like, you know, I'm not going to ever get that, because everyone, especially in Australia, like, Australia boys are just not it, unless they're in the public eye, I reckon. Anyway, this one is so beautiful. Harriet and Wynne are so cute. They are, I love how I was literally going to say they are the perfect couple, and it says right at the top, Harriet and Wynne are the perfect couple, right on the blurb. Like, what the hell? This is so cute. Like, it's also got a lot of like friendship group dynamic. Also there's a little bit of flashbacks when they're in in university, because that's when everyone met, which is really cute. And I just really loved it, and the fan cast was so cute. So yeah, I gave this one a 5 stars. It was perfect. The next book is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. This is my newest series that I'm dabbling in at the moment. I'm currently reading Crown of Midnight. Haven't picked it up in a while, but I really am loving it so far. It's certainly different to the ACOTAR series. There's ACOTAR, the whole series, like, it's in a firm part of my heart. Like, she's tucked away, and she's in the big fantasy lover place, and I reckon this whole series, it's going to insert itself into my special place in my heart as well, because I loved this. And there was a lot of like conversations that were happening in the prequel to the first book with a certain person, and I'm just like, and then this whole time in this book she was talking about that person, like mourning that person, and I'm like, I need to see this person, I'm so nervous. Yeah, so it's really exciting, and everyone's just telling me to get through it, girl, get through it. So love it so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I gave that one a 4 stars. The next book I have is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is obviously the second book in the, well, it's not like a series or anything. Like, you could read this standalone if you wanted. But this is like a university series. It's a hockey romance, but this one is set like in the summer break holiday season where they're not at uni and they're just like, oh, it's so cute. They're camp counselors and they both have trauma, and they're both so fucking cute. Like, I love them so much. This book, I still think about it to this day and just like smile so much. And I love the curated playlist that Hannah Grace has got at the front of the book. So like, you can listen to it while you're reading it, or like, I legit saved it the second I started reading it, and I've been like listening to it, and I just love it so much. And it's also like really spicy. Like, it was the perfect amount of spice, I feel. Ross is so hot. I was picturing Ross Lynch and Madeline Klein as these two. Yeah, and it was really, really cute. It's also based off like, and this isn't a spoiler, but that one was based off a one night stand, but it wasn't. Yeah, and I gave that one a 5 stars. The next book, this was one of my first amazing, like, eye-opening, like, awakening books for me this year. And 5, it was also one of my first 5 stars. This is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I highly recommend this to literally anyone in their 20s, anyone above 20. Like, it is heartbreakingly beautiful, and it does give you that eye-opener. You know, I read this and I thought, woo, I'm going to think of things differently now. Like, I've got a different perception now, you know, on love. And I've always known, like, there's meant to be endings, etc. in life. Like, you've got friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, there's always end at the end of that. So it does hurt to think about it. But this was so beautifully written. It was, and the main character girl, she was not insufferable in the slightest. And most books, there's always going to be an insufferable main character, whether it be the protagonist or the antagonist. But it was so nice to have like 3 people as well. But just seeing her, oh my God, her whole story, and it is so beautiful. I want to read the blurb to you guys, please, because I actually highly recommend this. This is like an underdog book. Like, I don't see a lot of people talking about this book, and I want people to read it. Like, it's fucked up, okay? So it says soon to be a major... Sorry, I'm just so excited. I can't wait to watch it. It says soon to be a major motion picture. A moving love story about a woman unexpectedly forced to choose between the husband she has long thought dead and the fiancé who has finally brought her back to life. In her 20s, Emma marries her high school sweetheart, Jessie. They build a life for themselves, living life to the fullest and seizing every opportunity for adventure. On their first wedding anniversary, Jessie is on a helicopter over the Pacific when it goes missing. Just like that, Jessie is gone forever. Years later, now in her 30s, Emma runs into an old friend, Sam, and finds herself falling in love again. When Emma and Sam get engaged, it feels like Emma's second chance at happiness. That is until Jessie is found. He's alive, and all these years he's been trying to come home to her. With a husband and a fiancé, Emma has to now figure out who she is and who she wants. Who is her one true love? Emma knows she has to listen to her heart. She's just not sure what it's saying. And like, honestly, when I tell you, like, there were chapters where I was choking on my tears, and the ending as well. Like, as soon as I finished the last page, and then while I was going into the acknowledgements, I'm literally like teardrops and tear stains all over my book. Like, I was like heaving, and it was like 12:41 at night. I remember it was around that time. And I was like, I need to talk to someone about it. And everyone was asleep. And I was like, fuck. And then I couldn't get to sleep that night. And I woke up the next day so upset and moody. And it was just, but I was so excited that I finished it. And it's like the perfect size book as well. Like, I'm pretty sure it's around 300 pages. Where is it? Oh yeah, it's just over 300 pages. So it's gorgeous. 5-star. This one, I am so grateful for this one because it has truly been such a whirlwind. This was my very first thriller book. Like, it was just so powerful for me to read it. And it was also one of the first YA books that I've read, like, ever, because I'm not really a YA girly, like, other than obviously like Twilight, and I don't know, like, I am like that, but like, this was different because it was just different. It was so good. And I just can't thank Holly Jackson enough. Like, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I was inspired to read this by my Beb, who I live with. He hasn't recently read it. He read it last year, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. And I got to it. Like, I read this whole thing in a day. And then the next day, I read the second book. And then the day after that, I finished the third book. So I remember I read the whole second book the second day. And then I started reading the third one. And then by the next day, like by around 6 p.m, I was like, oh, I'm done. And I was like, what the fuck? Oh, it was just so good, guys. Like, the whole series was just perfect. It was eerie. It was just thrilling. And I gave it a 5 stars. I gave this one, like, the whole series is fantastic, but this one takes the cake. It really does take the cake. Obviously the third one as well, like, it being the ending, like, it was an emotional roller coaster. It really was. And I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. My jaw was dropped. My jaw was dropped. I was like, ah, oh my God. It was just so cool to be inside Pip's mind. And I've heard that this is coming to life as a TV show or a movie, and I'm so excited. Like, I can't breathe. I'm so excited. So this one, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, 5 stars. Highly recommend to anyone that's never really been a part of the thriller fan, like the thriller book, the thriller fiction fan club. Like, definitely, if you are considering jumping on the bandwagon, that is like the perfect series to start off with if you have no idea where to start. So highly recommend. Okay, the next one I have here, so this is the Shadowhunter series. It is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is the first one, so the City of Bones, and then the next one is the City of something else, etc., etc. It is such a fantastic fantasy book, and I actually had never read the books at all. I'm still up to the second one, but I've never read the books before. I was always so hyperfixated on the movie adaptation, which starred Jamie Campbell-Bower and Lily Collins, and it was, for the longest time, my favorite movie ever. And it still is, like, my favorite movie because there's no other continual movies in it. Obviously, like, I've got 3 other favorite, like, series, like the Harry Potter movies, the Twilight movies, and obviously the 2 Mamma Mia movies. They're, like, my top tier, my goats. But standalone, because obviously they cancelled the second one. I was so upset about it. But yeah, the first one, it's just fantastic. So I was like, I need to get this whole series, because I tried to watch the seasons. Like, I tried to watch the TV show, and I just couldn't get into it because it just was hard for me. It was hard for me because I have been so obsessed growing up with, like, constantly rewatching the movie, and I'm so used to having both those 2 actors, and then seeing everyone else in the TV show. I was like, you know what, they're great, like, I've got no issues with them, but it's just not for me. And I tried so hard. I got to the second last episode of the season 1, and I was like, nah. I was like, I don't think I can do this. So that's when I decided to purchase the whole book series. And yeah, I started reading the first one, and then the rest of the books aren't even on my physical TBR this year. So that's a next year thing. Especially I've got a little goal where I want to like try and get through a lot of series, which is really exciting because I finished a few series this year, but like my biggest series that I read through this year was obviously Harry Potter. I actually finished all the Harry Potter books by today. It was really good. It was so nice. So yeah, this one I actually ended up giving this a 4 stars because I wanted it to be a 5 stars. In my eyes, it's still a 5 stars, but my reading experience was 4 because it took me a little longer than expected. It took me around the whole month to get through this because unfortunately, I don't know why I did this, but I had like on the backbone, like all my, on the back burner, all my other books that I was reading at the time in the month, like, and I was also reading the Inheritance games at the same time, I believe, like around that time. But yeah, so it just didn't help that I was reading too many books at the same time. So I was like, get through it. But it was actually so fun because every time I was reading it, like on those nights, I'd be like, like munching through it. Like I'd be devouring it because I was like, oh, yep, I can imagine this whole thing in the movie, and it was really good. So yeah, that's why I think sometimes watching the movie before you read the books is fun, but also the other way around is even better, I feel, obviously. But so yeah, next book that I have, I literally just previously talked about it. It was the Harry Potter series. I'm just going to hold this one up because I can't be bothered holding all of them. This one is just representing all of Harry Potter. This is Harry Potter. It was incredible. I loved it so much. Don't love the author. Will not be talking about the author. Just want to say I do not support the author in any way, shape or form. Yeah, I just think it was such a fun experience considering the fact that anyone who knows me personally in my whole life, they know that Harry Potter is my favorite thing in the whole entire world. Like, it is the one thing that's like kept me going. I get emotional thinking about it. Like, and it's crazy because I literally just finished the whole series today. I was doing a little like reread. I wish I had filmed the whole thing and then like put it all into one video throughout the whole year. Maybe I'll do that for Twilight next year. But oh my God, it was so good to reread all of them in my 20s. So good. And yeah. All I can say with one thing that I thought of today, like while I was reading the last book, The Deathly Hallows, I was just thinking, like, even though it's not really a part of the Deathly Hallows, it was more in like the Half-Blood Prince, the way everyone treats Fleur Delacour is so fucking disgusting. Like, all the students, they're so mean to her. They're obviously threatened by her beauty, but even too, like in the Half-Blood Prince, like they're just so rude. They were calling her phlegm. Like, imagine that being on the screen in the movie. It was just crazy. So, but yeah, it's a 5-star series in my eyes. Almost every single book is a 5 stars. Actually, every single book is a 5 stars. It was incredible. The next book I read was My Policeman by Beth Ann Roberts. This one was a 4.5 stars for me. I actually read this right after watching it, and the movie was so beautiful. It was so beautiful and so heartbreaking, and oh my God, it was crazy. It was so crazy. I watched it purely for Harry Styles, as you should. Yeah, I never had read a Beth Ann Roberts book until obviously now with this one. It was interesting because it was definitely more of a literary fiction, and I, from the start of this year, found literary fiction was very troubling for my brain, especially trying to read The Secret History. We'll get into that in another video. That was just crazy. But I'm slowly like really getting into these kind of books, like, and especially considering the fact that I love like a different setting, like a different era. Like, I love that so much because it just gets me more hyped and excited. And I think about like what they're wearing, how the culture was, the politics, you know what I mean? And I hate politics, but that's most of the time like a huge major contribution to books, especially in literary fiction when it comes to in the eras. And obviously this is set in the 50s, I'm pretty sure. And then there's obviously like years later as well. So in the 90s, like I'm pretty sure it's in 1999 in Peacehaven, October. That is when you get the back to reality. So they're going back in time, all the parts that were in the 1950s in Brighton that they were going through, Marion, Tom and Patrick. Their whole, I love that there's an audio that's going around like at the moment too, like everyone's revisiting the audio on TikTok where it goes, there were 3 of us in this marriage, and that's Marion talking, and I'm like, ah! It's kind of funny. But yeah, it was a super tense and smart and beautifully written book. So yeah, I love how it says on here by GQ, their quote is, a powerful story of love, shame and jealousy. Shame. It was such a major theme, obviously, because in that setting it was illegal to do it was illegal to even be a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. And that's heartbreaking in itself. That's so fucking heartbreaking. I'm obviously a part of the community myself, and it's really hard to watch those things and read these things too. Big love to the community. Love you guys. Love us. And I think it was beautiful. So 4.5 stars. My Policeman. Oh, another gay. Okay, so this next book, I love this book so much. It features a beautiful gay prince and a beautiful bisexual son of the president. And this is none other than Casey McQuiston's Red, White and Royal Blue. I loved this. What did I give it? I ended up giving this one a 4.5 stars. I loved the process of this one. The main part of it was that I really just ate up was the romance. I thought it was so beautiful. Obviously, you can tell if you put those two together, one being from bloody England and one from America, and especially the fact that he is a prince. Poor Prince Henry, like being a part of the royal family. Unfortunately, it is super frowned upon, and they had their traditions for many centuries as well, being a part of the royal family, and he has shame as well, as I said earlier in the last book. Shame, he can't be himself completely. He can't romantically be himself. But when he finds Alex, things change, man. Things bloody change, and it was so beautifully well written. It is true love. I love how it says true love isn't always diplomatic. All right, well, yeah, this one I highly recommend to anyone. It was so beautiful, and it was also spicy, quite spicy. The next book, this one is Malibu Rising. I finally got to it. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I loved this book. I actually gave it a 4 stars, I believe. I just really loved how it was like fame, and then, going back in time. It says Malibu, August 1983. So the present time in this book is in the 80s, and the flashbacks of Mick River and his beautiful wife, who deserved so much better, that is set in their time, them growing together, their connection, the troubles that they face, and also creating their beautiful family. So I think it was really beautiful. It's got a hint of surf and fame and heartbreak, all of those themes in this. Honestly, Taylor, all of her books, they are incredible. They're always incredibly written. So yeah, I truly loved this. I'm glad I read it. That one was a 4 stars. Okay, so the next book, I'm going to pretend that I've got the whole series here with me in front of me right now, but one of my top rated books I'm currently reading one of them right now, but this is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I will say the one aspect that I truly love about this particular series is the fact that the writing is so well done. The lyricism, it's poetic. It's I can't put into words. It's there's drugs in these words. The shit that she's put in this book. Jessa Hastings, whoever has educated Jessa into becoming the woman that she is, thanking that person, thanking those people, because we're all going to have our influences in our life, and I just truly, 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 truly love this piece of writing, and I would love to see it as an adaptation, maybe even as a TV show, but it has to be done well because these books are so well done. The first one in particular, when I first read it, I was just utterly appalled at the toxicity. Like, it is very toxic, and I would not romanticize this kind of book. It is far too toxic to romanticize the relationship and the things that they did together. But in saying that, which is crazy, like, I can't believe I'm saying this, at the moment I'm reading the second book of the Magnolia Parks. So I've already read Magnolia Parks, The Daisy Hates, then there's the second Magnolia Parks book, which is Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. I'm literally 70% into the book, and I've had a full 360 moment. Like, I've had a full change, and I'm like, wow, like, I just knew from reading this that I had to read the second part of this whole fucked up universe and the toxicity. Like, there is a reason for why everything has happened. Like, there's always going to be a reason. And I've actually really, really, really enjoyed that book. Like, I've really enjoyed the Daisy Hates book. So I can't wait to also read the second Daisy Hates book, because a lot of people, especially people that I follow, like Rachel Catherine, has said that she really liked the Daisy Hates, The Great Undoing book, because Julian. Now, in the first Daisy Hates book, I didn't really think that Julian was that great. Like, I just thought, yeah, it's Julian, like, cool. And then obviously by the end of the book, like, seeing what happened and evolved, I was like, and I only recently read that as well. I was just kind of like, it's a bit crazy. It's crazy. Like, wow. But in saying that, a lot of people have said, like Rachel, they've said that they like Julian. And I'm like, well, am I going to like Julian? I'm keen to see and find out. But yeah, obviously, like, I genuinely, when I was reading this book, I was kind of like, what? Like, this is a great example of my experience with annotating. This is fucked. See how cool that is? Like, I love this. What does it say? There's a quote. I think maybe he changed already, and I think maybe I don't like it. And then I wrote next to it, you need to change too. Oh my God. When I see him with other girls, I'm first of all confused as to why people like pornography so much, because so far my 2 close brushes with erotica have only made me want to gouge my eyes out. But also, when I see Beej with other girls, it makes me quite sure that actually I don't really know him at all. Do I have to say, like, what the fuck? Do I have to say anything else other than the fact that, like, have I just told you the writing is poetic? Okay, it's crazy. So unfortunately, there are some books that I only read on Audible or like audiobooks and stuff, and I don't actually have the physical copy. I have since tried to actually go to other stores and find one of these books in particular, and it's so hard to get. And I'm like, what? I don't understand. Anyway, so the first one is The Housemaid by Freda McFadden. I thought that was incredible. Like, it was a 5-star. It was absolutely insane. I just cannot breathe. I cannot breathe thinking about it. What a turn of events as well. Seeing like what happened to both the females in this movie and in this book, like what? Like, it was just mind blowing. I read the whole thing in a day. Like, in an actual day. It took me about 7 hours to read it. I was like, nom, nom, nom. I ate the whole thing up. I was like, I can't go to bed knowing like that I still have so much left. Like, I was like, I have to read this. I need to know what happens, because it was crazy. And I got the second book in the series. I actually have the physical copy of that. I hate when I do that. I should have got the first one as well, but it's fine. I will end up getting it again because I want to reread it. Like, oh my God. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So that one was a 5-star. The next book I have is Everyone in This Room Someday Will Be Dead. This one was a very cool literary fiction. This was like the first literary fiction where I was like, hold on, something ain't right. I read that really well. I read that really quickly. I understood everything. Like, what? I was like, what? Am I Jack Edwards? Am I Jack Edwards? Am I Dakota? Am I those people that can read really, really classy things? Like, I don't think I could do it. And I did it. And I was like, whoa. But the thing is, I think I really enjoyed it because there was a sense of erraticness with the book. Like, this is by Emily Austin. I gave it a 5 stars. It was so crazy. It was about this girl who is gay, and she's kind of like, if you've seen or heard of the TV show and the book Fleabag, it's literally Fleabag. But yeah, this person is just very odd with the decisions they make, and they're frantic, they're going through stuff, their communicative skills aren't the best, like, and it's cool how like it was all set in a very quick amount of time. Like, it wasn't like, oh, a whole year's dragged out. Like, no, it was so good. So good. So yeah. So the next one I read was Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. Is that how you say it? I hope so. I'm so sorry. I ended up giving that one a 4.75 stars, and it was also a book that really surprised me. Like, at first when I was reading, I was like, okay, cute. Like, this is all right. And then it just kind of got really annoying. And I was like, nah, I don't think I want to continue reading this. I don't like it. I don't like it. And then I was like, you know what? We're on the home stretch. We have like 30% left. Let's do this. Like, and I'm so glad I stuck around. And I was like, hold on. Something ain't right. I like this. Like, what the fuck? Like, and I was really, really enjoying it. I was like, oh, okay. And then the ending was so cute and it was so cool. It was just crazy. It was so crazy. I was picturing Diana Agron. Is that how you say her name? The one that plays Quinn Fabray in Glee. I was picturing her as the main character. And then I was picturing, what's his name? I don't know his name. I don't know it. But I was picturing him. I don't know, man. Honestly, yeah, it was just great. It's like a very fall setting, like autumn vibes, set in like America, like in a city, like a busy city, and they're both very creative people and they got big aspirations, and then this big secret happens, and they talk a lot on Craigslist, I'm pretty sure. And I'm like, there's not a Craigslist in Australia. Like, I have no idea what it is until like I started like hearing about it more in like movies and TV shows and obviously in the books and stuff. And I was like, oh, and it was just so good, guys. Like, I highly recommend it. So Before We Were Strangers, I gave that one a 4.75 stars. And then the last non-physical copy book I have is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I ended up giving that one 4 stars because I just loved it so much. Like, even a 3 stars is really good for me. So that was really scary. Something just moved. Okay. I really loved it. I found it was so sweet. And there's something about like books where I just love like them meeting in a workplace, in the same workplace together, especially in a creative workplace, like being a part of like a writing being a part of like a writing industry, like whether they're a publicist or whether they are an editor or just generally like a writer. This one in particular, she's a ghostwriter, and it's funny too because it's ironic because her and her dad, they can both see ghosts and communicate with them. And something fucked happens in the book, like something so fucked up happens, and the whole time you're like, how am I going to be happy reading this? Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how, but there were so many moments, like so many conversations and everything that were happening. Obviously, I cannot even spoil a skirt of it because it's just so perfect. Oh, I loved it so much. And I actually still think about it to this day. I was picturing Saoirse. I can't remember her last name. I'm so sorry. But she is in a lot of she's in a lot of Greta Gerwig movies, okay? Sorry, I can't think right now. I was picturing her as the main character, and I just loved it. I loved it so much. I thought it was so cute. I was picturing Sam Claflin as the main guy as well. Kind of different age gaps, but still, it was just perfect. It was so good. And you have to read it, okay? You have to read it. All right, I've got my final 3 physical before I talk about the top 3. Oh, give me a sec. I can't breathe. I literally can't breathe. I can't breathe. Okay, so the next, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna start off with this next one. This one is Little Women by Louise May Alcott. I really loved this one. This was another one that surprised me because I had never read it. I had watched the Greta Gerwig movie of this one. I'm still yet to watch the classic, like the real normal, like the original one. Like, I can't believe I still haven't, especially considering I'm a huge Winona fan. Love Winona Ryder, and I never watched it. Like, what the heck, man? I can't believe I haven't done it, so I will get to that, okay? I will, I promise. But I really love this. I love the blurb. It says, "Come laugh and cry with the March family." Truly, that's like all you really need to know. It's about 4 beautiful sisters, and they all have their quote-unquote flaws. They think they're flaws. Honestly, like, these girls are just so beautiful. And it was obviously set in a time, I think it was like set in the 1800s. Yeah, crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, so cute. You guys need to read this. It's a cute classic. And look, how random is this cover? It's so random, but it's so cute. I'm pretty sure I got this book. I'm gonna say I got this book. I can't remember the, like, I can remember. Okay, I got this book at an airport. In one of those, like, you know, those cute little airport bookstores. I grabbed it, and I have had it for years. I've had it for so many years, and I never read it for so long. And then I was looking at it the other day. I was like, let's do this. Like, let's just go. Like, it was so good. And I gave it a 5-star. It was surprising. Like, I was trying so hard not to feel obligated to give it 5 stars, and I didn't. I was like, you know what? You are a 5-star. So good, Louisa. Good girl. Good job. She's a fantastic writer. Okay, oh my god, my pages are wrecked in here. Okay, this book is so near and dear to my heart because it was one of the books that I was like completely flabbergasted, because like I went into it blindly, and I also like had no expectations at the same time. I was kind of just like, yeah, this looks cool. It looks a little interesting just like by the cover, and I was thinking, oh, this might just be like a completely YA, like I might not like it, and I gave it a chance. And I'm so glad I did. So this is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I'm going to include all 3 of the books because they were fantastic. They were so fantastic. Legit 5 stars, and the second one for me was a 4, and then the fifth, and then the third one was a 5. So I just loved it. It's pretty much a mystery thriller. Less thrilling, but definitely like a mystery fiction, with subplot romance, and the romance trope is definitely forced proximity, found family, and more, like, it's not too crazy on the love triangle, but a lot of people like have made fan art and stuff, and I'm definitely team Jamison. I used to say Jameson, and I've been reading it because I can't say Jamison, but is that how you say it? Like, can someone please tell me? Seriously, because like I don't know. Sorry, I sound really frustrated. It was so good, guys, and the chapters were like the perfect size. Let me try and think. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 pages. I was like, yum, 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 I'm eating you up. Pretty much it's about this gorgeous young girl who's kind of been through a lot already by the time she gets to this situation. Avery Kylie Grams and Avery, you want to like kind of picture, I'm going to say like you want to picture Nancy vibes, like Nancy Wheeler from Stranger Things vibes. You want to picture her, obviously like more in a older like setting, not like age. I'm just saying more like it's not set in the 80s. Actually, I'm not sure if it is specifically set where it is specifically set. I'm sorry, I can't be making those bold moves saying that. Don't think it actually has like a setting on here like displayed. But so this girl randomly, she gets pulled into the school principal's office, and there is a very gorgeous young man with silvery blonde hair sitting, and at the desk, and he's like, hey, blah, 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 just letting you know, my granddad died, and he wants you to come over to my big, massive family mansion on the day where we are presenting his will. Yada, yada, yada. She's like, okay, that's really odd. Like, I don't know him. But she goes, pretty much, for some reason, this man has given her the will. And every other child of his and grandchild of his has completely lost it. They're like, what? They're confused as well. The kids, like the grandkids, however, like they're not completely phased because like everyone still gets a little bit of something. He's completely rich. He's so rich. I'm seeing stuff right now. I'm freaking out. Yeah, he's completely filthy rich. Like this man is a billionaire. And yeah, she gets a lot of it, but the catch is she has to live inside that house for a whole year because it was like perfectly timed as well. She was 17 and she had to, by the time she turned 18 while living in that house, that's when she's allowed to get all the money. And everyone is trying to work out why she is involved in this. Everyone is trying to, and there's a lot of like rivalry, especially with the parents. Yeah, and it's kind of spooky. Like it's a bit of like a thrillery vibe. Like a lot of shit goes down. She joins forces with the young grandsons, all the brothers. And that is the main thing that really got me through. And all the conversations as well were really, really good. And the whole time I was just, it's kind of, you want to think like Knives Out vibes, like that movie, like that whole movie franchise, like it's very like that. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm seeing things. I feel like the fucking fairies are trying to tell me something right now. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. I don't know if anyone knows, but I'm really, really spiritual. Sorry. Oh my God. Okay. Here's a good quote, like to kind of describe what the book's about. This is from Catherine McGee, best-selling author of American Royals. Catherine has said, a thrilling blend of family secrets, illicit romance, and high stakes. The non-stop twists kept me guessing until the very last page. And that's the same thing with me. When I was reading it, I was like, oh, I have a feeling it's this. And I would get it. Or I'd be like, oh, wow, really? Like, whoa. And you're trying to guess and you're trying to work things out. So yeah, 100% recommend that series to anyone. Anyone. It was crazy. It was so crazy. Okay. The final book before my top 3 was none other than The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I only just jumped on the Ali Hazelwood bandwagon and I'm so grateful I did, but I'm also pissed off that it's taking me this long because it was so, so good. Firstly, look at the cover, like how beautiful is this? And I just love too, like how all of her books, they've got a very similar theme, like similar cartoon drawing, like on sorry, I'm just patting little Frankie. Very similar cartoon drawing theme on the cover. So anyway, this is a STEM romance. If no one's heard of this, it's pretty much about third year PhD Olive. A third year PhD Olive, when you think about it, is like an olive going to fucking university. No, legit, her name is Olive and it is so cute. She's just got a really cute personality. And the whole time too, I was just thinking, I was like, I love this girl. I just love her. I'd want to date her. Like, I think she's so cool. And Adam is literally, oh, he's not just cute. He's fucking hot. Like, he is so hot. So sexy. What he does, the things he says, the things he does. Like, Frankie! She's my favorite cat. Okay, so I've got my top 3 sitting here with me right now. Top 3 of the year. This has been a whirlwind, and I'm also currently still reading other books, but most of them are like sequels to the next one of these, as well as I just don't think they're going to live up to what I've experienced this year. Like, oh, I'm going to get emotional talking about these books. Like, I know it's just like, sometimes when you think about it, it's just a story, like it's someone else's work and it's just pieces of paper. but it's everything and more to me. Like when I'm fixated on it, I'm like, and like I'm having a tough week and I'm reading that book and I'm like, oh my God, I got through this week. And like every time I wanted to escape, I went to you and I was reading you, and I just love it so much. And I always like align my music with the books as well. So if other people that have read these books and stuff have made like Spotify playlists, I'll go and save them and I'll watch and listen to everything and all their TikToks, and I love the fan art. So anyway, without further ado, in third place this year for my 23 top reads of 2023 is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. It is such an important book to me. Iris and Kit, they have my heart. I want what they have. I'm going to say that about every other book that I've got right now, but like, I just can't believe it. And this one, like, I was just so excited about the cover, firstly. The cover was one thing. The bloody letters to each other were everything and more. And I just love the very small hint of fantasy aspect to this novel, and the typewriter. Sorry if you can hear noise in the background. Frankie's eating. And obviously like letters and just communication is like the main theme of this novel. And then when you see it all come together, and there's a bit of thrill to it as well, where I was like shitting myself. I was like, oh my God, like, and it's war as well, and they're focusing on gods of whatever land that they're living in. It's just crazy, but I love it. It says, no God, no war, no one can come between them. Look at the cover, guys. And like, look, fucking hell, like these cute names as well. Like Rebecca Ross, seriously, we've got Iris Winnell and Roman Kit. It's just crazy. It's just so crazy. The revelations in this book as well. I just love it. I love it so much. Yeah, this was 10 out of 10, this book. It was 10 out of 10. My 5-star. She's a 6. She's up at the 6, okay? All right. In second place is none other than Powerless by Lauren Roberts. And I literally still think about this book to this day. Like, I literally think about it every single day. And I have made a playlist and I listen to it every day ever since I've read this book. And it's been like 2 months, I think, since I read this. And my God, it was just incredible. This one is a 5 stars in my eyes, and it's a 5 stars for a lot of people that have also read this book. And I'm so grateful for Lauren Roberts, because this was her first debut novel. Like, what the fuck? It is so, so beautiful, and I'm so looking forward to Reckless. Firstly, let's have a look at this map. Like, what the hell? Legit, what the hell? Oh, also another thing, like, look at the font on like every start of the chapter, as well as the cute designs. On every single start of the chapter, there's always a bouge design. You want to think Hunger Games vibes, but also like these people, these two protagonists, they are bound to each, like they are bound. And their communication, their banter, their thoughts are just incredible. And I was thinking of Damon Salvatore the whole time as Kai. I know that's very different to a lot of other people, but it just, Frankie. And something really tragic happens. It's so, 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 so beautiful. And it was a 5. It was literally a 7 stars in my eyes. It's above 6. I just love it so much. Like, I think about it to this day, I'll be sitting on the toilet and I'll start like going, and I start crying. Like, I start crying because of the end of this book, and then the little peeking through the bloody first chapter of the second book. When I've read the first chapter of the second book, I just chucked it. I was like, no! And I started crying, and I was like, oh. And I'm an emotional girl. But like this whole year, I've been very numb, very, very numb. This book has helped me so much, and I cannot thank Lauren Roberts enough. I can't. Like, I love Peyton and Kai. I want to be like them. I want that. I want this in my life. I just don't want a war. I don't want to live a part of like trials like they do in the Hunger Games. And then this book, it's a bit scary. I don't want to do that, but loved reading it. Loved my experience reading it. And I read that in like 2 days and I just loved it so much. Okay. I think everyone who watches my videos knows what's coming next. Like, you guys know. But I'm gonna still give it a drum roll, okay? Okay. Without further ado, this is my first place book out of my top 3 of my 23 favorite books of 2023 is Fourth Wing. I don't want to break any more brain cells, but oh my god, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. If you haven't read this book, you need to read it. And if you read this and didn't like it, you've got to be fucked, I reckon. I reckon there's got to be something wrong with you. Like, surely. Oh, every second of this book was just incredible. It was so incredible. I was just about to open this book and like take this book back out. I was thinking, what? But currently my cousin who I live with is reading this right now, and I just quickly grabbed it out of it. Frankie! How dare you! I have a reading vlog of this. If you haven't watched it, like, I think you should, because it's honestly, I sometimes still have to rewatch that video back of like my reaction to the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my god, like, it was real and raw. And I was annotating this thing too. It's so funny to look back on my annotations because like the whole time I was like, yes, fuck, and I was highlighting in purple like all of my favorite interactions and quotes from both. Purely, literally, look at this. Fly or die. Enough said. Like, okay, I can't even put together like words of how to describe this without just like going on a tangent and like getting too excited. So I will be reading the blurb for you if you are interested. Okay, like, you have to read this. Okay. Welcome to the brutal and elite world of Basgiath War College. Frankie! 20-year-old Violet Sorrengale was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, her tough as Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Nevers, dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away. Because dragons don't bond to fragile humans, they incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their own chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter, like Xaden Riorson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise, yet every day the war outside grows more deadly. The kingdom's protective wards are failing, and even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. This was the part that I was like, oh, this is exciting. Everyone at Basgiath has an agenda, so sleep with one eye open, because once you enter, there are only 2 ways out: graduate or die. And it is so compelling, this book. Oh my god, like, I got through this. It took like just less than 7 days for me to get through it, but it was like the first thing I read in the morning, and then I was reading for like 4 hours straight that whole day, and then I would read for at least 2 hours before I go to bed. So I was reading quite a lot. I was reading for about 7 hours a day, and it was so fun. It was so fresh. It was just so beautiful. It was so good, and it was nice. The spice was beautiful, and just like I felt bad because I was like, do I want to root for this guy? Like, oh my god, and I'm so glad I did. Zayden, I want to date him. I want him, please. Please. It was so good. And I'm on this like fan page, like at the moment, like I'm on this like Facebook group, and it's for like Fourth Wing fans, and everyone's just like posting shit in there, and they're all talking about like their experience reading right now. Iron Flame. I'm still yet to read that. It's in my freaking December TBR. If I ever get to it, I need to read it so bad, seriously. Yeah, it is just fantastic. This is obviously top tier. Both these two though, they're like side by side, but obviously I had to reveal my winner. I had to have a winner. So I had to choose wisely, and I thought, you know what? The experience I had reading this was very emotional, and I was like, wow, like this has completely changed because it is my favorite book of my whole life. Like, it is my favorite book in my entire life. And previous to this book, I used to say all the time, New Moon by Stephanie Meyer is my favorite book of all time, because it still is my favorite childhood book. But this is just, it takes the cake. It is so good. So yeah, that is all the 23 top books that I read this year. And please let me know if you have any of the same books in your top 23, as well as let me know your favorite book of 2023, whatever the top one is. Okay, please. I just want to know, because I like to get inspired and I like to chat to people, and I also think if I haven't read that book, I'll read it. I'll give it a go if it sounds good, if I like it, I'll get it. I want it. I got it, okay? So yeah, this was just so fun and so perfect. I need to like grab some books for me to do like a little thumbnail. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please give it a like, because it really supports my channel. And if you are new here, please click that subscribe button down below. And please go visit my other videos if you haven't yet already. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!